Hey y'all, welcome back. My name is Shamika and this is Check the Rhymes. I am super excited that you're here. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. Y'all, I am so excited about today's show because there is a legend in the building. And I love my legends, especially my music legends, because this is where Gen X meets pop culture. And you know I love all the old school music and things. But anyway, in the building today, I have Miss Brenda Russell, y'all. She has had an epic 4.5-decade career as a multiple Grammy-nominated singer-songwriter, Tony-nominated, Grammy-winning co-composer of the Color Purple musical, and the list goes on and on and on and on and on. But she is back with new music, y'all. I am so hyped about this. So she is in the building to talk about the new music, and we're going to go down memory lane, and she's going to answer some of your fan questions. Stay tuned. Ms. Brenda Russell, welcome to Check the Rhymes. How are you?
I am so fine and happy. Thank you.
I have been super excited about this interview because I had been wondering, like, what is Miss Brenda Russell up to? And here you are, like, looking so beautiful.
Thank you. That's very nice. Yeah, I've been busy. I've been recording my album, which I'm in the middle of doing. And so that's been so much fun and very liberating for me because I love to do what I love my job.
Yeah, you've got such a great one. It's like I was trying to think of a metaphor to describe, like, especially your songwriting. I was like, you must have a special songwriting pen that has magic dust or something on it.
Oh, that's so sweet. You know, what I do have as a writer, I keep a little book. And when I think of a song title, I keep a list of song titles because I know within every good title, there's a good song. So that's how I operate. So I keep titles, and then once in a while, it pops into a song. And one of those songs was Piano in the Dark, actually, because two of my friends wrote the music, Jeff Hull and Scott Cutler. And when they sent me the music, they wanted me to write some lyrics, right? And they sent me the tape. And I listened to it, thought, wow, this is so beautiful, so beautiful. And so they called me a couple of days later and they said, what have you got? And I said, I don't know, what about, and I look at my list of song titles, because I hadn't really thought of it yet. And I went, Piano in the Dark. That's how easily that happened.
Wow.
I just went, that's the title. And then it fit the music so beautifully, and it just became a wonderful song.
Oh, it is. I was listening to it. There's something so calming about that song too. I was listening to it yesterday when my anxiety was really high, and it just kind of even like calmed me down a little bit because I was stressed out too. So thank you for that song.
Oh, it's my honor to, lighten the load for people listening,
Yeah. So you mentioned your new album you're working on, and it's been 20 years since you've released an album. So what made you want to, I mean, you already said you love your job, but what made you decide like now is the time to release an album?
Everything kind of slowed down a little bit with the Color Purple, which I co-wrote for Broadway. And then they made a movie, as most people know. And I forgot my question.
Oh, that's okay. With the time, the decade, it's what, 2 decades. Since you released an album, but why now? Yeah.
Now's the time. I'm here in Texas. I just moved here 9 years ago, and it's a whole new setting for me, but I really like it. And I got inspired. I started getting inspired in writing and pulling up some old songs that I had written that had never been recorded, which shocked me because one of the songs my co-producer pulled out, and I didn't even remember writing it. Had no clue. Loved the song, but I thought, is that me? And it was. And so that one is called Save Me, which I think people will really enjoy. My song title is called Songpainter. That's the name of the album.
I love that. Because actually, that is here's where I always think song titles mean one thing. And I'm like, it's perfect to describe you. But is that where you were going with it? Because you are a painter of songs.
It's so beautiful. One of my songwriting friends wrote me. She had just heard one of my songs online, and she said, "You're such a song painter," and I went, "Bing!" There's my title.
I
She
love
called
it.
me that, and I went, "Yeah, that's a good title." So I'm also an artist.
Yeah.
I draw pictures too, so I love.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, I could show you one. You would like it. I think I did one of Michael McDonald that I love, and who I love, and this is
I don't even know what to say. That is beautiful.
Thank you. Look at the eyes.
Right? What do you use? Like pencil
Charcoal.
or
charcoal? Yeah.
I am like, what can't you do? Because that is like perfection.
It's such a gift. It's all a gift from God, in my opinion.
Yeah. Wow. Like it literally looked like just a portrait, like like from a camera, like that the detail.
Yeah. I had to argue with a couple of people. They didn't believe I drew it. Because they know me a long time and they never saw me draw anything. Oh, but there you go.
You gotta keep some things for yourself, though, I guess.
Keep them guessing.
So you, when will Songpainter be released?
Not sure about the release date, but we're still recording. So.
Okay. Now you released a single back in November. What will it take? And I'm sure that was one of those that you kind of rediscovered.
Yes.
And, can you talk about rediscovering it and then on the recording process, and then why you chose that to be the lead single?
Right. Well, because one, my friend and a personal assistant, Irina, she said, you should look at your old songs because you have so many songs.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. And then I found this, What Will It Take? And it was in such a turmoil. The world was in turmoil at that time, and it still is.
Yeah.
That's why I thought this song was perfect for now, because there was so many wars happening all at once. Mm-hmm. I had to write about it and sing about it and hopefully lift some spirits with it.
I think you have, because we're all just so glad. We're like, yes, yay!
Thank you so much.
So before we were starting earlier, you mentioned that another single is coming out soon.
Yes.
Can you talk about that?
This one is a song that I wrote with the grand, marvelous Roberta Flack back in the day. And she recorded on her Oasis album in the 80s. And he said, I got some ideas for some backgrounds. And I said, great. And he killed it with these backgrounds that he did. Unbelievable. And I'm so proud to have a record out now with Roberta's name on it, because I love her and I think it'll make her happy too.
Oh yeah. She's also an inductee of the North Carolina Music Hall of Fame. That's here in North Carolina. And we're just so excited we can claim her.
Oh, so great. She's ridiculous. Everybody loves her songs. So even if they don't know her name and you start to sing the song, they're, oh, I love that song.
Exactly.
Great.
So, I'm going to have to ask my mom this, but I swear she probably wanted me to take piano lessons because of you.
Oh, how sweet.
But I am not musically inclined whatsoever. She bought me a keyboard to start off, and that was quickly taken away. Banging, making noise. So how did you start playing the piano? Like, what was that like?
It was fantastic because my grandmother, who lived in Massachusetts, had a piano. And every time I would go to visit her, that would be the first room I would go to as a little kid, right to the piano. Canadian Sunset, I had learned to play, which is a classic song. And it made me very happy to be at the piano. Plus, my mother and father were both musicians. My mother was a writer. My father was a singer and a drummer. And my mom, I thought all moms wrote songs. When I was little, I didn't know. It was just mine. I went to school. I was like, "Doesn't your mommy write songs?" They're like, "No." But that's what I thought. She was really good. And I think that's why I became a writer, because growing up with her writing songs all the time. So.
Oh, I love that. I'm like, no, mommies don't all make music. Well, no, that's not true. They may sing a lullaby or something they make up, but they just don't. Right? They don't blow up and do anything with it or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly. I thought that was so cute, though. But then I thought that.
Yeah. So, well, you already answered the question. That my next question was how you're like in your childhood, because you grew up in you moved to Canada when you were pretty young, and so I was curious how music shaped your childhood. But it sounds like you always had music around.
Always, always. My mom taught me about harmonies. She used to have these young groups that would sing on the corners. Come on up, and she would help them with their harmonies and stuff. Oh, wow. And that's how I learned how to harmonize, listening to her working, so.
Wow.
All a gift.
Yeah. I'm like you were probably, and I don't know if they had this where you were, or, in elementary school, we had to learn how to play, what was that instrument? The recorder, like that flute.
Oh, yeah.
Thing? I couldn't even do that.
No. No, I didn't do that either. But when you have music in your heart, you'll find it, or it'll find you somehow. It will happen.
Now, you were in a group before you decided to go solo. Can you talk about that?
Yes, I was in two different artists. My ex-husband and I, Brian and Brenda Russell, we made 2 albums for Elton John's label. He signed us, and we're extremely excited. And oh God, I forgot what I was talking about. Oh,
the other group that you were.
So I was in a girl group called the Tiaras, Canadian Supremes kind of thing. We used to do little Supreme songs and any covers. The long gowns. The sequence.
Oh yeah, I saw the pictures.
So I'll tell you one cute story that we were playing the Tiaras. We were called, 4 of us. And we were getting ready to open for Sly and the Family Stone. This is at a ski lodge in Canada, very popular. And Sly was very huge. He was just starting to break out big time, right? So we were all excited. And then our drummer came walking over our manager walked over to us and said, our drummer is stuck in the snow. It was a big snowstorm that night, and he couldn't make the gig.
Oh, wow.
And we're like, and I immediately said, I can play drums. I don't know where I got that youthful fearlessness from, but I was not afraid. I'd never played in front of people before, ever.
Oh, wow.
But I still said I can play the drums because I knew the set and I knew how to play drums. So I go, he said, you really? First he looked at me saying, really? You play? I said, yes. And he said, well, okay. And he helped me to get up there in long gown, climbing up on the stage with the drum set. And I start to play, and even the band doesn't even know I play drums. So they're like, what's happening? And so I'm sitting there, and I played the whole set with the girls. And then out from the dressing room back door, this gentleman walks out, walking right towards me, and it's Sly Stone. And he walks right up to me at the stage, and he said, you want to play drums with my band? He actually asked me that. And I was like, oh, no, thank you. No, thank you so much. I was terrified at the thought of, playing drums for Sly. But it was such an honor that he asked me.
Yeah.
Because he was into putting girls in his group, and not many people did that at the time. And so I have him to thank for bolstering my confidence.
Yeah. Did you ever play drums again for anything or anyone?
Just for fun. I just liked to play in the rehearsals and get on the drums. And I used to teach some of my Canadian drummer a couple of funky beats because it wasn't that funky at the time. And it was fun though.
That's such a great story.
Thank you. I love that stuff.
What made you decide that you were just ready to go solo though?
Well, I got divorced. And that changed everything.
Yeah.
Because we were a duo and then we weren't.
Right.
I don't mean to laugh. I won't hurt you. But I just had to keep going, even though I divorced, because that was all I knew how to do, was write and sing. And so that's what happened.
You know what? And I think that's a great lesson, because I think sometimes people, when they get divorced or even a breakup, they think, what am I going to do with my life now without this partner? But that's a great example of, you got to keep going.
You have to.
Yeah, I love that.
And the universe will work with you.
Yes. Yes.
If you ask.
So did you have some kind of vision for your first, for your first album, your solo album? Did you go in with like, I want this, and this is how it should be received? Or did you just kind of let it happen?
I went in with wanting to do my music, specifically, because it was disco time when I first started, and I wasn't really a disco entertainer. So people were suggesting, because I was Black and I'm a woman, and why don't you do it? It's like, that's not what I do. I have to do what I do, And luckily I stuck to my guns and came out with the well-received album, so I was happy.
One of my favorite songs, If Only for One Night, was introduced on that album.
People love that song, and I'm so happy. Although I cried through the whole time I was writing it.
Oh, what inspired it?
I was so brokenhearted. That's what inspired it. And us girls, we fall in love, and then we write about it.
Yeah, now that you say that, I think I was driving down the interstate one day, and it came. Luther Vandross's version came on. And I just started crying and singing, and I was like, because I was upset about something, and I was like, I really feel these lyrics right now. I feel them. So it's so powerful how music is, really.
It's incredibly powerful. I remember I did this gig when a gentleman came to speak to me after the gig. He told me he was a pilot during the Gulf War, and that the only thing kept thinking of on this mission was get here. He said, it made me think, I want to get back. I want to get back home from this war. So he always had my song. And then we both started crying. As he told me the story, like, and then he's crying, and we're both crying.
Yeah.
And it's just very touching to me how songs affect people.
Yeah.
Because you can change your mood just like that. You can be miserable and hear a song that you love come on, and you're up already. You didn't even feel like getting up, and now you're up. Yeah. Music is a great healer.
It is. It is. I have my different playlists. It just depends on the mood, but I know that each playlist will lift me up, whichever one it is. So
isn't that wonderful?
Yeah. Yeah. So with that song, I want to go back to the song, If Only for One Night, for a second, but it has had life, from Roberta Flack and People Bryson to Luther. Like, did you ever expect that song to have such a lasting impact?
No, I never think about, I write to be lasting. Let's start there. When I write, I want to write a song that I think has the quality to stay alive. I write with that in mind. Like, I wanted to speak to everyone, and it just comes.
I love that. I think sometimes creatives get blocked because they're trying to trying too hard, or trying to think, they're like, I got to do this better than this one over here or this one over here. And then
so good you said that, because two things. One thing is, I never believed in copying other people, because every human has their own channel of creativity, and you can put it out there, and it can affect people very deeply. And it's spot on.
That's true. I try not to look at a lot of people's interviews of people that I'm about to interview, because I want it to be my interview and not something that I'm kind of thought, oh, well, I like the way they did it. I don't want to do that. I want it to be organic.
Because we have to have confidence in what you came to the planet with.
Yes.
I could say it like that. Whatever you came here with, have confidence in that you want to do that. And try to be the best of you, not better than someone else.
Yes, that part. Yes. Well, looking back at that solo album, the first one, is there something that you would look back now and tell your younger self, or any advice you would have given yourself now that you've, done multiple albums since then, and you've and you've had this amazing career? Was there anything that you wish you'd known back then?
No, I can't look back and think that.
Okay.
Because whatever I knew and didn't know created the person I am now. Ooh. So I feel, I always just kept moving forward and not giving up. That's so important, not to give up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I always say to my young writers, if you have more than your mother telling you you're good, then go for it.
That's too funny. But yeah, that's true. I'm just curious, this popped up in my head just now. As I was scrolling through YouTube the past few days, there were a lot of videos of the younger generation discovering Brenda Russell and doing reaction videos. Do you ever watch those?
No. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's like they pick a song of some artist that they've never heard of, or because they're probably like teenagers, and then they listen to it and they're blown away, like wow, because some music that maybe in their generation right now is not like our stuff. So I think when they hear it and they hear the songwriting and all of it, it literally blows them away. You should check that out, because there's a lot of them on there.
How do I check that out?
Just on YouTube. I just put your name in and some of them popped up.
Oh, cool. I'll check that out. That sounds fun.
Yeah. I just think those are always so interesting to watch.
And honest.
Yeah. Because I know there was one that blew up. I think they had never heard of, maybe it was, I can't remember which artist it was, but it was two young teens from like London or something. They were blown away by it. And it's like, this is real music.
Right?
Yeah.
I find I don't listen to the radio as much anymore as I used to, because I had so much more inspiration when the stations were playing real artists and serious music, serious, not serious, but good.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah.
So I'll hang on to that as long as possible.
Yes. So you also wrote songs with Earth, Wind, and Fire. How did that relationship come about?
It's fantastic. I have David Foster to thank for that, because David, who is a magnificent producer himself, he was working with Earth, Wind, and Fire at the time, and they needed lyrics. He gave Maurice my number. And that was one of the best introductions I had, because Maurice White was like a prince. When he walked in the room, you knew royalty was here. Oh, wow. On some level, you just knew that, because he was so peaceful and loving and brilliant like that. And he was very encouraging to me as a young writer, So, yeah, I loved working with them. I would take their music, their tracks, which they did something I never did before as a writer. Yeah. They put the whole song down, and the horn arrangements, everything is there, the vocals, everything. Then, the lyric. And I was like, wow, I've never done this. I never just, usually you start with the music. You build slowly. None of that. They gave the whole track, bam. And it was such a challenge for me to do something differently, and they taught me how to do that. So
I love that. That.
I wrote a song called You with them. Oh my God, I can never remember all the songs. You're right. Really
like the receipts are behind you, so all those receipts on the wall.
I'm so happy about that, right?
Yeah,
that is good.
Yes, yes. So, and I'm sure that's going to be hard because you just said it's hard to remember all of them, but I'm going to ask anyway because I'm curious. Of all the songs that you've ever written or performed, what's one in particular that like really still speaks to you now?
One song that speaks to me now, not a lot of people have heard, but it's called Night Train to Leningrad. Oh. And I wrote a song about being in Russia during the time of Stalin. Mm-hmm. And so all the creative people, the artists and poets and activists, they had to leave Moscow. And that song is all about what that was like, because it was a fantasy for me to pretend to be one of these writers escaping. And I think that's one of the most fun songs I've ever written. The other fun song I wrote was Get Here, because with Get Here, I decided to make it a game. How many ways can you get to a person? Yeah. You know, like, no, I can't think of one word, but, the ski, so the horseback,
Oh, yeah.
All these different ways I had, on a kite or whatever. Mm-hmm. And it became a game. How many ways can I, and I wrote it in Stockholm when I was there recording my album, and it just came to me that day, and I was so grateful. I thought it was the corniest song I'd ever written, first of all.
No, we love it, though. We love it.
I had no idea until I played it from the first person to hear, and he said that is not corny. I
was actually going to ask if you had like a muse or something, like if this was directed towards someone, like the song, but...
You know what it was? I was writing to a person I hadn't met yet. Ooh. I hadn't met yet. And that was what that song was about, written to a person yet to come.
That just gave me chills.
I'm still waiting.
He's coming. He's coming. Now it might be by drone, since we have drones now.
Right? Yeah, you can reach me by drone.
So I'm going to hop into the fan segment, which is where I have fans submit questions on social media.
Excellent.
So, and I think I just actually stole one of their questions because they wanted to know the story behind Get Here, but you just talked about that.
Yeah.
But, someone wanted to know if you had any idea that Piano in the Dark was going to be such a massive hit when you recorded it. Did you have like a feeling?
Well, it blew my whole theory of you must be positive in the studio at all times. That theory went out the window because I had one of the biggest fights with my producer and co-writer making that song.
Oh, God.
And the first thing I did, I told my co-writers, I can't sing it. This is too hard. I can't sing this song. And they went absolutely crazy on me.
Wow. Wow.
Like, what? Of course we can sing it. Blah, blah, blah. So they talked me back into it. And, but we had the big fight about the production. And when I realized it's not that you have to have positivity all the time. Yeah. It's just that you have to work through it, know how to rise above it, make it work for you, because arguments and disagreements are going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you have to learn how to flow with it,
I'm glad you said that because I keep saying this thing about like that whole gotta be positive positive all the time. Right. And there's absolutely no way you can be.
No.
And I think that I think I've seen a lot of now talk about sometimes you can almost kind of bring toxicity to that because you're trying to convince yourself like things are okay and you're crying.
Yes.
Instead of just letting yourself feel those emotions.
Yes, it's good practice. But it taught me a good lesson. No, you don't have to have a positive all the time.
Right.
Let happen what's going to happen and then you get over it.
Yeah. So someone wanted to know, what are your thoughts on the Color Purple, the film? Because I'm sure you saw it, right?
Yeah, several times.
Yeah.
I think it's magnificent. Mm-hmm. I think it's some of the best black singing or soul singing, I want to say. Some of the best soul singing I've ever seen in a film, period. I mean, between Fantasia and all of these women that were singing, they were just incredible.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And as soon as I saw it, I said, "Oh, we did a good job. We did a good job." So, did you see it?
I did. And actually, before we started this interview, my sister sent me this, her favorite song that she literally says to me daily. There's two songs on that soundtrack that it's either the song Working or push the button.
Yeah, push the button, right.
Push the button. She literally texted me. She said, push the button. I'm trying to push all of yours. And all I can hear is the song because she sings it every day.
Oh, that's so cute. I love that. Tell her thank you very much.
Yeah, so I told her, I said, well, you know who I'm talking to today.
That's so sweet.
That is her song.
I love it.
So I'm going to read this one off my phone because it was for me to type on my paper over here. But so this question says, of all the artists that have covered your classics, who best interpreted the sentiment of the song? Not who made the most money, but aside from you, who performed the quintessential, and I'm proud of myself for pronouncing that, version of Get Here and If Only for One Night. Any of those.
Well, I would say definitely Luther for if Only for One Night.
Yeah.
Because he killed it, and he killed it every time he sang it. He went, when he did that, people would go nuts. I mean, it was literally, they go nuts. They just loved him so much. I did too.
Yeah. Oh, he is missed.
Yeah. And of course, Olita did a superb job of that in here. And it's funny because I wrote it in Stockholm and she heard it while she was in Norway, which is the same area of the world, Scandinavia. And I couldn't believe it either. She said, oh yeah, I heard it in the record shop when I was in Norway. And so I was in Sweden when I wrote it,
Oh, wow.
Really, and I bumped into her at an airport to exchange that story. I didn't, I got his moving pieces all over the board, I just walked right into her at an airport. We talked about Get Here. Isn't that crazy?
It was supposed to be.
Definitely.
Yeah. So the next question is, do you have any favorite songwriters of today?
Oh, yeah. That are still living, you mean?
Yeah.
Stevie Wonder, for sure. And Sting. And Ivan Lins, who's a Brazilian composer. Brilliant. One of my favorite people to write with. And I've been writing English lyrics for him for about 25 years, off and on. And yeah.
Let's see. Do you have, hold on, let me see. I wrote this. I was trying to copy and paste.
Hear you.
Let's see. Your thoughts on artists, because a lot of artists today, a lot of artists at all times have sampled each other. But do you have any thoughts about your music being sampled?
I love it because they pay me. And that's okay with me. As long as you pay me, I'm all right.
Does it matter though, like about the song and the context of the song?
Absolutely, it matters because some people like to change the words or write new words for things, and they often use words I don't really assume goes in a song. The N word and the B word and all this stuff. I'm not into that. So people will often, writers or artists will often write me with the song that they want to present with these words, the N word and this and that. I'm like, oh no, we're not doing that. Yeah, it should be special. I write it with a certain kind of love in my heart, and I don't like to see it, present something else.
Yeah. Yeah. Will we ever get to see your art? I'm just asking this for me. Will we see your art I don't know if you'll have it somewhere public, like a gallery or something. Will we ever get to see that?
I will. I've been asked already, which is very flattering.
Yeah.
But I have to do some more work. But I have a hard time balancing music between art and music, two very strong forces.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I have enjoyed chatting and laughing with you so very much.
You're very sweet.
You'll have to come back when the album comes out so we can dig
Yes.
into the music and all that. I'm excited, but please put it on vinyl too. That's my request.
Is that starting to happen again now?
Yeah, like I have my collection downstairs. I meant to bring the album up here with me, but your debut album, but I didn't think. I was just like, oh, I got to hurry up and turn lights on this and that.
I understand. And I can always sign it later.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. You're lovely to talk to.
Well, thank you so much. And everybody can just go to your website and check out what you're doing and where you're at.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining me on Check the Rhymes.
And please have a really good day the rest of your day.
Yeah, thank you.
Keep that beautiful smile, girlfriend.
Oh, thank you so much.